You cool, you cool.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be.
Oh, we live, we live. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another Financial Friday.
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
your host, Dr. Anthony Burns, and this is my co-host, brother, Chief Minister James
Uh,
Jones. What's up, Brother Jones?
oh, I'm doing good, Pastor. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So let me start it off because we start off all our events all the same. So let me say good evening to everybody. Hello to everybody, and good evening to all my grinders out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
all my grinders out there.
oh yeah, all
Listen,
the grinders,
listen.
all
If
the
you
grinders,
if you are a grinder, I need you to put that in the chat right now. Say I'm a
all.
grinder. Yeah, put it
I'm
in.
I'm, I'm a 365 grinder.
Yeah.
360.
Now, now what was your thought about that sermon I did on Sunday on Grindr when I did the acronym? How you like that?
Dude, I liked it. I wanted you to get to the D part. I wanted to get to the D part, but yes, yes, God is always first when it comes to grinders. God is always first. So I was like, no, yeah, no, that makes sense. We could do that. We can make these acronyms work. So yes, yes, yes.
So you said the D part. We talked about determined.
It was fast. It was fast. It
Yeah,
came out, and I'm
clock
like,
had doc. That clock though. That clock don't mess around. You know it on Financial Friday when that clock come. You be trying to
I,
get it in. You be trying to get it in.
I I do agree. I do agree. I was like, yeah, that D was kind of short lived. I'm like, that D had the marinate like all the rest of them. So yes, but yes, I do believe in the grind.
Well,
The D
listen, we
part, I
are
do.
well into our 90-day challenge,
Yes.
and I have gotten some great feedback from those of you who are along the journey with us on the 90-day challenge. And again, the 90-day challenge is not the book. The book is I had to, one of the things about writing books is knowing when to stop adding stuff.
Yeah.
And so I added a few things, but now it's in the hands of the editor and is scheduled to go to print next week. So woo woo woo! And
That's what I'm talking
so we're really excited about that.
about.
And so the book we're going over now is the 90-day challenge. So the
Yeah.
90-day challenge is designed to get you in shape for the road to six figures. So there's
Yeah.
some habits and some hangups that you might have that's causing you not to be able to accumulate wealth, cash, finances. And so we're trying to get you in shape. It's like a boot camp. The 90-day challenge is like the boot camp
Yes.
so that you can get on your way. So there's some basic things that you got to have in place: your budget, being able to sign your funds, and the things we've already covered. And if you don't have the 90-day challenge book, they can drop that in the link for you, and you can
Yes. Get the
order
book.
you one. And, and we are on week 6. And so
Yes.
last week we talked about active income and we introduced that. And today we want to talk about active income, but we also want to build on that. When it comes to active incomes, there's many facets of it. First of all, it's your skill set. When it comes to active income, it's monetizing
Yes.
your skills and partnering with someone. So those three things are very important, and we want to kind of talk about those today. And when we talk about those things, we always got to be in a mode to improve. You want to always be better than you were yesterday, and so
Yeah.
you want to be able to improve. And so when it comes to your skill set, if you're not careful, you go to work, come home, go to work and come home, and you get locked into that Fred Flintstone zone, where all these just go to work and come home and go to work and come home. But that's not really being active, And so
Yeah.
we want to look at that because it can take you further than where you are, but it's going to take more than what you're doing. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. It'll take you further than where you are, but it's going to take more than what you're doing. And so you're going to have to be willing to just give a little more effort, and that means you might have to cut into your TV time. You might have to cut into your social media time. You may have to cut into your whatever time, but it's going to be worth it because we on the road to six figures. Yeah. So
Oh,
so let's start tonight with
yeah.
talk about when we talk about skills. What are we talking about, James? Because some people feel like they don't have any skills. You know, they feel like all they can do is just go to work and come home, and a lot of times they overlook some skills that they may have. So when we talk about skills, what are we talking about?
Man, we talking about the things in which you normally do that are innate inside of you. It's like saying, it's like somebody saying, I have no. It's like a housewife or a mother that stays home and says, I don't think I got any job skills. But she deals with the management of the funds. She deals with the management of the kids. She deals with the day-to-day operations of making sure that those kids are doing what they need to do. She got skills. Her skills could be in bookkeeping. Her skills could be in management. Her skills could be in time management. Her skills could be in secretarial. She has tons of skills. Some of her skills are leadership, but she has tons of skills. You got a guy who goes to work every day and he's diligent about going to work every day. And he's determined to get really good at his job. Guess what? That's a skill. Determination is a skill that he can utilize that if he applied himself to other avenues or other facets and he stayed determined and he was diligent, he will produce a good result at the end of the day. These are skills in which men and women often have. If you got a single dad at home and he maintains his household and he understands, well, guess what? That's a lot of politics that goes into maintaining your household when you're a dad and you're working all the time. And now you got to come home and you got to maneuver through the family to make sure that each kid feels loved as well as the wife is getting understood and heard and she feels loved. All that stuff does a lot of politicking in order to get all those things done. That's a skill. Politicking is a skill, and if you utilize your kids, when your kids hit a certain age, they learn how to leverage their time against each other. They learn how to pit one versus another so they can try to get the goal that the desired goal. Well, guess what? All of that is a skill. It's a skill that we learn as kids. It's a skill that we go through as we get older. So as as you don't believe or you may not know that you have skills, talk to somebody. They can point out the skills that you are showing even if you don't see
So a
it.
lot of times our skills are wrapped up in what we do well, and sometimes even what we do on a regular basis. And a
Yeah,
lot of times we overlook those things as skills because we've become so familiar with them and we're doing them without thinking. But there's
yeah,
very few, if anybody, that don't have skills. I believe everybody got some kind of skill, that
yes,
they do. Now, whether they're utilizing that skill or putting it into practice, which is probably the same thing, it's a different question, but you got skills. But the thing is, you're going to have to be willing now to go the extra mile because you locked in on your job and you feel like you can't do no more. But when you think about all the things that you do after your job, you realize you still got a little more gas in the tank. You
yes,
still can carve out a little more time, especially if that time is going to monetize. Now, one
yes,
thing somebody said to me years ago, they said that you have to decide what side of the television you want to be on. And so I'm gonna say you have to decide what's what side of the screen that you want to be on. The people that you're watching on the screen, they getting paid to be on the screen, where you're not getting paid to watch them. And so you have to decide now whether you want to watch other people get paid or whether you want to get paid yourself.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
go ahead.
I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we can talk about is that we are a consumer based country. So a lot of things we do are consumer based. So you can either consume, that means entertainment, you can consume food, or you can be the person making the food. You can be the entertainer, or you could be the person being entertained. It all depends on where you see yourself and where you can place yourself inside that field. The goal is to be on both sides. You want to be entertained, but you also want to be an entertainer. If you're a sales agent, yes, you do want people to sell you on things, but you also want to be able to take what you heard and the techniques and be able to sell other people. If you're a baker, yes, you want to be entertained or you want to be understood. But in in also in doing that, you want to be open to new techniques and ideas that are out there to make your baking that much more enriching.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So when we talk about skills, so we identify what skill we have, and if you have the 90-day challenge on that on the week 5 and 6, you have to fill in the blanks there that tells you to identify your skill, and then the second one tells us how can we improve. So how can we improve our skills? I know there's so many avenues out there to help us to be better at what we do, and a lot of times we either take them for granted or we don't take time. And make that a twofer on that one. How do we improve, and then how do we research? Because sometimes improving is about researching, right?
Yes. So first is identification. And then that's one thing that some people identify, some people don't. So if you take a piece of paper and you was to say, what am I good at, right? What skills do I have? You may put none. So then say, well, what do I do every day? Well, I count a bunch of numbers and I make sure the numbers are in order and in sequence and everything works. So then you do have a skill, you just don't see the skill. And that's perfectly acceptable because some people don't understand all the goodness that they do. So your skill, if you can count a lot of numbers, is close related to accounting, bookkeeping, tax collecting, money counting. So anything that deals with money, dollars or numbers, then you may be very exceptional at those at that skill set. And the reason why you're exceptional is because you can interpret money a lot faster inside your head. That's a very good thing. If you can deal with babies, and I mean babies, like I mean 6 months and less, that's a skill. Child rearing is a very underappreciated skill because there's a lot of people out there that may have children that's not doing a proficient job at child rearing. So 6 months or less is a bunch of people who can take care of babies. It's a lot of people who can handle the terrible twos and toddlers because a kid that's very adventurous, they do need to learn boundaries, but they also need to learn that they have a world that they can explore. It
Mhm.
takes a person with the right temperament and skill to teach that child and to nurture that ability to learn. I don't have that ability. So guess what I'm not going to do? You're not going to see me in a daycare trying to take care of somebody else's kids. That's not my skill. However, there's a lot of people out there who that is their skill,
Yeah.
and there is money to be made in that skill.
Hmm.
Likewise, different school teachers out there or instructors. That's a skill to be able to give off a lot of energy to teach children. Do everyone have that skill? No. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not all teachers have that skill. However, if you find teachers that have that skill and that passion for learning and teaching, you can resonate with that and you will see how glorious they are in that field. And they can make money off being able to teach people. I think the funniest teacher that we don't utilize is all of our streamers out there. So if you're a YouTuber, yeah, you're a Instagram, TikTok, you're a streamer, right? Or Twitch. If you're a streamer and you're teaching people how to play a game, or you teaching people how to be proficient at a game, then that's your skill. Your skill is teaching. Even though it's not in a traditional sense, it is still teaching people a game. Now, that's just that's how you describe or understand your skill. If you are not seeing your skill, another way to do that is to ask. Just ask the people around you, hey man, what do you see in me? Oftentimes, older or elderly, not elderly, but our elders, our older people who've been around, have a life experience, they can see your skill set and they can tell you what they see. But you always want to make sure you take that witness with other people in wise counsel, because people can see themselves in you, and some people can see the blossoming you that is inside of you.
Okay, no, that's good because we're talking about skills and improving your skills as well as being able to research and understand what your skill is. And so you're saying that there's people that can see things in you that you may not see in yourself, and if you just simply ask the question, that they can help you to identify what those skill sets are. You inventory your own self of the things that you find yourself doing repetitively after your job is over, could identify your skills. One of the important reasons for improving those skills is so that you can increase your value in the marketplace, because the
Yes.
better you are at what you do, the more you're worth. And so it's
Yeah.
not enough just to identify my skill. Once I identify my skill, I need to look for ways to improve my skill so that I can bring my value up, you know. And a lot of times, with your internet and your different research tools that's out there, you can do some researching, and you may have to take a class, or something. You may have to get a
Yeah.
certificate or something. Depends on what your skill set that you are using to monetize is, but you definitely want to make sure that you're willing to make the investment in yourself. You don't want to just be okay. You want to be good at what you do. All right. And so let's talk about, because once you identify your skill, and we say you can do that by asking people, you can do that by observing the things that you do repetitively, that you over and
Yeah.
over. And then you want to improve those skills. So you want to look at ways that you can improve them. Maybe take a class, maybe read some things on the internet. Being able to research and find out, okay, how can I take this skill and move it forward, and then you could also look for places where that skill is needed, where you can look for
Yes.
places where, okay, they're looking for this particular skill. And that's going to lead right into this next thing, which is James' forte, and that is monetizing it. Now you're at a place where you can begin to think about monetizing that skill because you identified it, how to improve it, did a little research, and now you're ready to monetize. So we talk about monetize. What are we talking about?
So you're talking about making money off of
So
your
we're talking
skill.
about
Now I
making
am,
money
yeah, making,
off of your skill.
yes, the utilization of your skills to bring in an
The
income.
utilization
Hey,
of
whether
your skills to bring in income. I just, I'm a parent to that. I'm a parent. No, I just wanted to reiterate what you're saying because some people just don't feel like they can get paid for their skill set. And just like you went and you described the different things like the babies and the different things you were describing, there's a need for that.
yeah,
And my apostle, he used
yeah,
to say it like this. He said, "He who solves problems get paid. The bigger the problem, the bigger the payday." And so when you
yes,
look at
yeah,
your skill set can solve somebody's problem. And so when you're
yeah,
placing your skill set, when you look at what you have, there's somebody who don't have that skill set, that you are the answer to their problem. Does that make sense?
yeah,
And so then
yes. I
that's
mean,
where monetizing come in. All right, Jane, let's talk about monetizing.
okay. So monetizing is the utilization of your skills to bring in an income. Now, when I say that, some people be like, "Well, you don't understand my situation." You're right. I will not understand everyone's situation, but the fundamentals are still the same. Daycares. When I say you could take care of a baby and you can be in that situation, daycares are averaging about $150 a week. That's a daycare per kid. Why? Because babies are very important to a lot of people. To so many people that they can charge $150 a week for that skill that you may utilize. Some of your highest paid Twitch, Twitter streamers, right? These are people doing multiple things in multiple areas. They're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars to sell this product or to show you how to do it. We're not talking about people who have master's degrees. No, we're talking about people who know how to play a game. We know people who know how to cut up wood. We know people who can melt and remold glass. People who can manage and meld steel. People who can do pottery. All of these people in their relatively skillful areas are bringing in a monetary value. Just people who are showing you how to inspect a home. That person just showing you that with enough followers, they're making a monetary value. So you're utilizing your skill to make my monetary value. And something that comes up is people say, "Well, I don't have enough time." Well, time is time. So we all have 24 hours in a day. How are you managing it? So if you look at the weeks prior, we talked about that. Are you assigning time? Are you the person sitting down being entertained on the TV? Or are you the person up and about moving, making other people entertained? Which one are you? My suggestion, if you don't have it and you're looking for more time, stop being entertained and start doing the entertaining. By doing that, you can now start making a monetary income. And like all things, you won't start off and make $3 billion. However, if you start off small or you start off large, you start off with what you can handle. And as you grow, you continue to grow. It's not anything major. It's just you have to be persistent, consistent, and determined to get things done. And by doing that, you will make a monetary profit. Another thing that I think someone asked me is, how do I know that I can make money off what I'm doing? Easy. You name your skill, and then if you don't believe me, look in Google to see how many people can type a paper, right? Even though Chat GPT is out, they still need people to actually type up papers. Just because we have a thing called AI, we still need people who can drive vehicles. We still need people who we can talk to. We still need people who can answer phones. And the reason for that is because as much as we may rely on computers, there are still jobs that need a human interaction. We need those things because you must grow off those things. So the biggest thing I could tell you when it comes to monetizing your skill, you need to know what your skill is. And once you understand what your skill is, the very next thing you come off with is how to monetize it. So let's say your skill is computer work. Let's say you're really good at computers. If you're really good at computers, then you should monetize the ability to build computers. That means putting money in within yourself. I'm really big on assigning money and assigning time. So you will assign some time to build out a vision for what you want. After you assign that time and you start building out your vision, then you will create a process that will start producing revenue. And that there you go, you'll start monetizing your time. If you're a business major, something similar to what I am, just a business major, either you can create new businesses for every problem that's out there because that's how you utilize and that's how you get money. You don't get money by being the world's best nothing guy. You get money by being a person who solves problems, which I have done a lot over the years, and it has produced a reasonably good income for me and my family because that is inevitably what we all want to do. We want to make sure that we're putting in enough time and we're monetizing and utilizing that time that we produce a income or an income. Another thing that people fall into is that they don't know how to monetize their time. And it's very easy to monetize your time. You can monetize it by putting a dollar amount. And I know, when you first get started, no one ever thinks that they could be worth $3,000 for 1 hour, or they may be worth $6,000
Hmm.
per hour. But I'm telling you, that's how everyone gets started. Everybody has got started the same way. They all got started with understanding that they had something that they could sell, which was an idea or their speech or their time or their talents. And then by utilizing that skill, they picked up a fan base or they picked up people that was willing to pay the amounts in which they was willing to charge. By doing that, they had a plan or a solution. And from that, they was able to monetize. That means start making income off of what their skill was. Pastor, you
Yes,
still there with
sir.
us?
I was
Oh,
in
okay.
the chat, but yeah, I was trying to see. It seemed like it cut off and it came back on, and so I was trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so Uh, so for everybody's out there, for everyone who's out there, I think I was talking to somebody just a couple days ago. I'm always talking to people about their dreams, and like right now in my lifespan, I am I am a lot more financially stable. So now my goal is to find the vision for other people and to help them make six figures. So that's where I am. I was just talking to somebody, I think I'm gonna say last week, and I was talking about their vision. They're a fashion designer, they do movies, they do plays, and I was telling them, this is something that you like doing, so let's do it. But don't plan for 6 months, plan for 2 years, because that's how long a movie takes. Plan it out for 2 years, get the movie, get the financing, and then you'll be good to go. Because once you plan it for 2 years, you have a place to put all your investors. You put your investors, you come back, and then you can get everything done the way it's supposed to. And I think that's the benefit about already having been financially stable. Now you can better position yourself to help out other people. So I am very excited for that person. I hope she does a fantastic job making another movie and a couple plays out there. And so she's gonna wow the world eventually. Uh, she's already wowing the world, so she's gonna come up with a really big thing eventually, and she's gonna hit her vision. We have another guy, another gentleman that I've been working with. He is actively trying to buy property to help other people buy property. He has a skill. His skill is helpfulness. Well, how do you monetize helpfulness? Well, you monetize helpfulness by putting yourself in the right position that your hands will get wet as water flows through it. Because remember, it's hard to hold, it's hard to have a pipe. There's no pipe that has water flowing through it where
That's
it don't
right.
get wet. Wet is just, wet is just something that happens when wet is just something that happens
Yeah.
with water. So if you're a person who's out here helping other people, then as the spirit flows to help that person, your hands will be wet just by helping that person. And he's doing a fantastic job out here doing that. I'm just happy that I was able to meet him and help him put himself in a better position so he can help more people more efficiently. Because that is where I am currently. And I think once we understand that anything we do can be monetized. Now, I do have to caveat this. I am not in it for evil purposes. So when I'm telling you this, like all things, there are people out here that are for mischief, and there are people out here that are trying to get over on people, and there are people out here that's trying to make a quick buck. So even though you may be well intentioned, I want you to be understanding to the people that are helping you. If they're asking you for a bunch of money, or they ask you for ownership of your ideas or for your property, that's probably not the right person to deal with. Why? Because if they're going to monetize your idea and you do not get a cut of that idea, then to me that's called robbery. I want you to focus on you and building your legacy. I'm okay with you partnering with people, but if it's for my recommendation, you partner with people who fill in the gaps of what you don't have. It's not so they can take over, it's so that everyone builds together.
No, that's good. George Barner Shaw, he said it like this. He said, "Don't wait for opportunity, create it." And that's what you're saying. You're saying that those skill sets that you have that's being underutilized or even not identified, those are skill sets that can create opportunity for you. And so you have to understand
Yes.
how important it is. I think the biggest thing for many people is what I talk about a lot, and that is having the boldness and courage to step out there. You know, a lot of times they think they're taking a risk, even though by definition you can say that when you have God on your side and you believe in yourself, is really not a risk. It's more like a matter of time, you know. Listen at Exodus
Yeah.
35 and 35 in NIV. It says this: He has filled them with the skills to do all kind of work as engravers, designers, embroiderers, as fine linen weavers, all of them skilled workers in design. So that scripture says he has, what it's really saying is he has filled each one of us with the skill. We are equipped with skills. We are made with skills, and so your skills that you have can make you successful. Frank Ocean said it like this. He says, "Work hard in silence. Let success make the noise." And so it's not necessarily, about you blowing your own horn as much as it is about you activating those skills that you have and that you partner with someone. Because part of the other challenge is when it comes to your skills, partnering with someone who can help you to tap into the monetization. Just because you got skills and just because you use skills don't mean that they're going to be monetized. And so you have to have the right connection. You need a partner in order so that they can help guide you and connect you so that you can begin to monetize it. Now, let me say this before James chime in. You can't be a taker. Now, there's two kind of people in the world. There's givers and there's takers. And so a taker is a person who get all they can all they get, they sit on the can, and they poison the rest. Now I know that was too old school for them. They don't know what I was saying. I'm saying,
Ooh,
I'm saying,
I think I might have heard that one.
I'm saying a taker is a person who take all they can take from somebody else
Yeah,
without giving back. You know, and so
yeah,
you can't be a taker. Because I'm gonna give you another old school. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. And so what that means is I'm not going to allow you to take advantage of me twice. And so you may,
yeah,
if you're a taker and you try to take advantage of me the first time, you might get over, but it ain't going to be no second time. And you're not going to
yeah,
get to where you want to be in one time. And so you don't want to cut off a partnership that's helping you to monetize because you're greedy or you stingy. And so you're not going
yeah,
to be, uh, our time is worth too much. And we're not going to allow you to waste our time. And so we might make an initial investment in you by giving you time. But if you try to take advantage of us, then we're going to cut you off. And so I'm saying that because we will, there's people who would love to help you, but they're not going to be played. You know what I mean? And so you have to be a giver and not just a taker. So as you connect with a partner and the partner begin to help you to monetize, then just like he talked about the pipe is going to automatically get wet, and so you can't keep it all to yourself. If you cut the pipe off and keep the pipe from flowing, and that pressure is coming in there, it's going to blow the pipe up. And so you don't want to be that pipe that blows up in a negative way. So
yeah,
don't be trying to take advantage of people. Don't be a taker. Don't you know?
yeah. Just so, yeah. So everybody out there, most of the things that you're talking about is networking and leveraging opportunity. So remember, your goal, your skill is only profitable if it solves a problem. Now, if you want to solve the problem, right, the water must flow through you to solve the problem. If you're mad that it had to flow through somebody else and you cut off it, well, now it's not flowing to you because God will
Yeah,
solve the problem. So you cut yourself off, God gonna just reroute it and it's still gonna solve the problem. If your idea is to not solve the problem but have all the money, well, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot because if the money doesn't flow to the problem, it's only gonna be a certain amount of time before there is no
yeah,
more water because the water will find another way to hit the problem. So those are all things that we have to understand. But if you're just becoming knowledgeable of your skill, then a partnership will be the best option because it allows you to one, bounce ideas off of each other. Two, grow in combination, which I hope when I was coming up, I was hoping for that to have somebody I'm new and have somebody else new. We can grow in communication together because by doing that, we weave ourselves into a good network of getting things done and to have a balanced ideas. It's kind of different when you have a person who's already established talking to somebody who's not established, because oftentimes the person who is established has a more dominance approach because they're doing what they know, and they got to loosen themselves up to listen to somebody who's not
Yeah.
as established. But if we're growing together, that's what I said. If you identify your skills and now you're monetizing it, you hook up or you network with somebody who also identified their skills and now they're monetizing it, and we're growing together. We're weaving ourselves in. We're actually building a good
Right.
network. And yeah, I am really big. I am not against partnerships. I'm against mismanagement. I'm against I'm against integrity
Mhm.
issues. If we have those things, and I'm not saying everyone's perfect, I'm saying we have integrity towards what we're
Mhm.
doing. Hey, we're trying to solve this problem. I'm really good at numbers, but I need somebody who's really good at talking. Well, guess what? We may start a show called Financial Fridays because one of us is really good at talking and they have all the spiritual knowledge to give you, and another guy has the financial knowledge to say, "Hey guys, this is what
Yeah.
we can do." Right? And it's not one or the other; it's both together. Because by doing that, then we can utilize and help out
Yeah.
more people and hit all of the goals, hit all of the signs that people need in order to
Yeah.
become successful.
Yeah. That there's a misquoted scripture, and I guess it could be universal, but the original, you know, definition of it is not always used. That's in Proverbs 18 and 16. When I say it, you're going to know it. It says, "A man's gift make room for him and bring him before great men." Now, you hear that scripture used a lot when they talk about spiritual gifts. You know, your singing or your gift to make room for you. But that's not what
Yeah.
he's talking about. He's talking about a gift. You know, that's what he's talking about. And you think about it. If I went up to let's say I won't use our current president, but let's say Barack Obama when he was president.
Yeah.
If I gave him a check, sent him a check for $10,000, do you think that I would get a handshake with him? You better believe
Yeah.
I would. Now, if I sent him a letter and asked him for a handshake and I just said nothing, do you think I get a handshake with him?
If you was in the line asking, you'd be one millionth
No.
person in line.
If I sent him a
Eventually.
letter
Yeah.
and requested that he give me a hand, let me meet and give him a handshake, would he answer that? No, he won't.
No.
So that ten
No.
thousand dollars would be a gift, wouldn't it? And that would make
Yeah.
room for me. And then the scripture goes on to say, "And bring me before great men." And so
Yes.
now we use it when it comes to spiritual gifts, but that's not what he's talking about. But it can be a universal scripture, and you could get away with using it that way. But the point I'm making is when you connect with a partner and that partner begin to open up that valve for you where that water is flowing, where now you are monetizing your skill, you need to sow back to that person. You need to give back into the life of that person. You need to share the wealth. And I guarantee you that would encourage that person may only be bringing you their C game, but to you it'll be an A game because you didn't know. But you start sowing back into that person, they might step it up to their B game. And if you keep sowing, they might bring their A, they might put their A game, you know. And so I'm saying you got everything to lose. So don't be a taker, is all I'm saying. Don't waste people time and don't be, just trying to, you know, get over on people. No, do the right thing.
Yeah. So as we start wrapping up for this session,
Bye
as we wrap
bye.
up,
He looked at the clock.
we gonna make sure as we wrap up, we want to make sure that we are actively talking about our active income. We have identified skills. We want you to monetize your skills in a way that is productive and has integrity. We talked about networking because networking is the best way to grow and the way in which to socialize and get ourselves together. Pastor Burns, you got anything you want to add?
I think he just stole my show. No, that was a very good wrap up, Dr. James. That was a very,
Uh,
very good summary of our lesson today. And so, listen, we look forward to next week. Let me just peek real quick at what we got next week. Next week starts week 7, and so we're going to be talking about saving and investing. So that's going to be another good show because that's another one of James fortes. So we're going to spend the next 2 weeks in saving and investing. All right. With that being said, I guess we out of here.
I
We'll
see
see
you
y'all
all.
next Financial Friday, and we look forward to seeing you on the road to 6 figures. God bless.